I made a mead in under 2 weeks, and this is how I did it. I used an herbal tea mead recipe in this book as inspiration. The book focuses on small batch fermentations, and it's a great resource for beginners. The beauty of this recipe is that it's simple, and you can use pretty much any tea that you enjoy drinking. Chamomile, green tea, chai, Lipton, whatever you like, you're probably going to enjoy this mead as well. The tea that I'm using is a really nice blend of elderberry, rosehip, and orange peel. 3 herbs that go really well in a mead. While that steeps, I'm going to the YouTube Brew website to figure out how much nutrient I should add. I'm making mine a little bit stronger than what the recipe says. It's going to be about 1071, which if fermented dry is going to give us around 9.3% alcohol. And 9.3% alcohol in a 1 gallon batch, that's going to give us a recommendation of 3.4 grams of fermento, which is my preferred nutrient. And I'm going to rehydrate the yeast in 5 grams of GoFerm. The recipe recommends champagne yeast, which is great. However, I'm going to use kveik yeast because I want this done faster. So I'm rehydrating this yeast in GoFerm for a bit, just so that it gets a good healthy start. Meanwhile, as I wait for the yeast, I'm going to dump some water in the fermenter so that when I dump my hot tea in the fermenter, I'm not going to break the glass and add unnecessary heat to my honey. So I gave it a good stir to dissolve, and I topped it off with water until I got to the 1071 desired gravity. Oxygen is very important to yeast health. You could put the lid on and give it a good shake. That'll add some oxygen. I like to use pure oxygen myself. Since this is a lower ABV mead, I'm adding all my nutrients right up front, not going to worry about staggering them. Also with kveik yeast, it ferments so fast that it's hard to time it just right if you do staggered nutrients. So we're throwing on the lid, and this is going to go into the warmest part of my house. It's winter time right now, so the utility room is the warmest. It's going to be about 72 degrees in here. And this started fermenting pretty quick. We're barely into day 2, and it's got a lot of activity going on. A lot of beginners are worried about that scum on top. It doesn't look very appealing, and they wonder if that's normal. That's normal. Nothing to worry about. That's part of the process. Now this looks like it's done fermenting, but towards the end I like to give it a nice swirl, and that gets the yeast back in suspension and allows them some time to take care of unfinished business. I'm probably asking for trouble doing this with one hand and recording with the other. Now it's done fermenting, I'm racking it to a secondary fermenter. This step isn't necessary, but I like to do it because it allows some of the particles that are suspended to settle out. And another unnecessary step is I'm going to cold crash this, which if it's chilled, those suspended particles are going to settle out even more. As you can see, this is still quite hazy, which is normal because quick meads are usually pretty cloudy. The mead finished completely dry, there's no residual sweetness. And the flavors of this tea really make this mead special. The rosehip, elderberry, orange peel, it's so good.